EarBites podcast. I'm your host, Aiden Crosby, and on this episode, we are doing a thorough analysis of a literature work of art, Animal Farm, by George Orwell. So, George Orwell, born 1903 and died 1950. He was an English writer, born in India, raised in England. He was a member of the lower middle class, just a little bit higher than the high poor. He was a modern era writer, since he wrote during the World War II era, and he's most famous for his novels Animal Farm in 1984. If you want to learn more about 1984, check out A Normal Conversation on YouTube, where they have an in-depth conversation about the book. Both stories provide criticism, or Orwell's personal criticism about imperialist systems such as totalitarianism, and some more, I guess. Anyway, I consider this book a fairy tale because it takes place with a ridiculous, non-realistic trait. In this case, is talking animals, which is kinda pretty ridiculous. It's not really a fable because there's no really moral lesson that the reader can take away from the book, since I found the book was written for people to enjoy and to express criticism of political views. And really, there are really no morals represented in this book besides maybe Clover, the nice horse. Basically, all morals between the animals and the pigs. The pigs are in their own category. They take control of everything. So spoilers. This book was about animals on a farm who became free after expelling the human masters off the farm. And after that, they created their own civilized-ish government. Over the course of the book, the pigs use their superior intellect to control all the other animals. Not really powers, but they were just smarter than everyone else because they knew how to read, write, and I guess also stand somehow. I don't know how that works, but it's probably magic. Like a wizard. Anyway, the pigs use their smartness to turn the farm into a totalitarian society that the other animals couldn't really do anything about because they had no brain, because they were just all dumb and they couldn't learn the alphabet to read. So for them, really, life was the same as it always has been, horrible. And Animal Farm is best known for its satirical value and how the goofiness, really. It's or really the definition of satire, which is it's a humorous and goofy form of criticism, or just criticism for explaining an idea. In this case, for Orwell, it's his view on totalitarianism, or in the greater picture, imperialism. Satire was also used to make the novel more enjoyable. In my opinion, it would be if they were using humans as the characters, that would kind of take away the fun, I guess, in reading it. And And I don't think I would enjoy it if it wasn't animals, because animals and humans kind of live on a different level in our world, really, and one has always been higher than the other. Unless you're a bear. Bears are scary. They can just take you down. Anyway, and to connect this to the real life, or his time, really, Animal Farm was based on the Russian Revolution and its attempt to adopt communism, but instead it's getting a totalitarian society or government system instead. The major characters such as the pigs, the horses, and some other groups all represent historic figures or groups who participated in the revolution. So Major, for example. Major, he was the elderly pig on the farm. He was the one who inspired all the animals to rebel in the first place. You give him kind of like a hope that life will be great again, or will be great, not again, but will be great at some point in time in the future. No exact time at all, just in the future, sometime. And he has this ideal view that animals will live free and unshackled by the hands of man, which kind of happens to the animals. But spoilers, the pigs kind of just cover him on top, and I don't know if I said this already, but Karl Marx was represented by Karl Marx was a political philosopher that came up with the basis of communism. He believed that the workers of the world would unite and take over the government. But sadly, he dies before the revolution even happens. That's he dies a third of a lifetime. How long a lifetime is. 80, 90. Off topic. So he died 34 years before the revolution even started. Third of a lifetime. So he came up with this. His mother pig or grandma pig sang this song a lot when he was a kid, or a ye lad. And this song kind of represents his ideology, I should say, that animals will be free. So it kind of goes like this. So it's a song. So let's see. I'm not sure if it sounds good, but let's go for it. Beast of England, beast of Ireland, beast of every land and clime, hearken to my joyful tidings of the golden future time. Soon or late the day is coming, tyrant men shall be overthrown, and the fruitful fields of England shall be trod by beasts alone. Rings shall vanish from our noses, and the harness from our back. Bit and spur shall rust forever, cruel whips no more shall crack. Riches more than mind can picture, wheat and barley, oats and hay, clover, beans, and mango wurzels shall be ours upon that day. Bright will shine the fields of England, pure shall its waters be. sweeter yet shall blow its breezes on the day that sets us free. For that day we all must labor, though we die before it breaks. Cows and horses, geese and turkeys, all must toil for freedom's sake. Beasts of England, beasts of Ireland, beasts of every land and clime, hearken well and spread my tidings of the golden future time. And that's the song. So, this song kind of brought all the animals together. It's kind of the spark that the animals needed to band together and kind of push for a revolution. Which, let me pull this back up. So, freedom in this story or song really, is said by like a few words of riches more than mine can picture, and bright will shine the fields of England, pure shall its waters be. So this shows like without humans, animals will live better, and the lines, rings shall vanish from our noses, and the harness from our backs. Bit and spur shall rest forever. Cruel whips no more shall crack. So this shows kind of like this tells us that they're going to be free one day. We don't know when, but one day it will happen. And the I guess the first line, beasts of England, beasts of Ireland, beasts of every land and clime, kind of talks to us that he's talking to every animal, in every farm animal that has experienced the same as he did. So I kind of read it the way I did, or sang it really, because it's a song, first of all, and I kind of wanted to like mimic and help you guys understand like his age and his blurry future vision. So reading this kind of gave us foreshadowing that the lives will improve to the animals as we progress further in the story, and it helps them like hope that they'll be able to run their farm on their own terms and no one can stop them or tyrannize them, which is their hope, but not really their reality that they are set to be in the future of the book. Spoilers. There are positives and negatives to having this belief that all animals will be free. Like some good thing is that, or one of the good things is that animals were again brought together and rallied that they will be free. That's like the whole point of the song. And the idea wasn't killed off quickly either. It lasted long enough before it lasted long enough for the rebellion to actually happen, and they were free. Like maybe a couple months later after Major died, so kind of sad. A bad thing about this idea is that there's like, as soon as they have the freedoms, they're afraid of losing it or getting it taken away. So the pigs, with their superiority intellect, superiority, superior intellect, use that idea to manipulate them and kind of use it as their power play line. So they use this line, and every time one of the animals tried to speak up against them, and they kind of used it to brainwash him, kind of thing. Like, it was bad, not good. Like, it even happened multiple times during the book too, because every time they protested decisions, all the pigs had to say was, "You don't want Jones to come back, do you?" Jones was their previous leader. Not really leader, master. And they obviously don't want him to come back because they don't want the human reigning thing, which is not really their ideal life. So all they had to do was say that line, and they would just shut up. It's perfect. It's the line they can't beat. No animal has a counterclaim to that, or not counterclaim, or counter argument, I guess. It's kind of like they're like a royal flush, and it works. It keeps them quiet. It's crazy how they do that. So I'm actually going to do another reading, which is on page 33 of my copy of the book. Pretty sure the book comes in all shapes and all sizes. And shapes, maybe. Like circle pages. So I'm going to start from the second paragraph of page 33. So this kind of context here. So Snowball, kind of like Napoleon's polar opposite, because he's all talkative and stuff. He wants to have innovation to the farm, and innovation. He wants to build a windmill to improve the lives and help people, or help animals, not people. And Napoleon just wants to do the main opposite and have people work. So the reading starts at, it's the whole farm. So the whole farm was deeply divided on the subject of the windmill. Snowball did not deny that to build it would be a difficult business. Stone would have to be carried and built up into walls, and the sails would have to be made, and after that there would be need for dynamos and cables. How these were procured, Snowball did not say, but he maintained that it could all be done in a year. And thereafter, he declared, so much labor would be saved, and the animals would only need to work 3 days a week. Napoleon, on the other hand, the bad guy, argued that the great need of the moment was to increase food production, which he kind of got in the end. Spoilers. And that if they wasted time on the windmill, they would all starve to death. The animals formed themselves into two factions under the slogan, vote for Snowball and the 3-day week, and vote for Napoleon and and the full manger. Benjamin was the only animal who did not side with either faction. He refused to believe either that food would come more plentiful, or that the windmill would save work. Windmill or no windmill, he said, life will go on as it always has. Hang on, let me just say that. Life would go on as it had always gone on, and that is badly. So there wasn't really any kind of like character lines. It was all just narration, but the last line really showed the character really showed Benjamin's like non-believer character that gives the reader like it gives it foreshadowing about how the rest of the book will play out, and it kind of gives off the theme of life is life and take it or leave it, because there's not really much you can change under a strict rule, and the only way to get rid of to lose the life is to either leave the place where you are, I think, or take your life, because if you know stuff isn't going to improve for you, which hopefully it does, just do what you gotta do. So having this life is the same no matter what idea that Benjamin has is he doesn't really have a false hope or any hope at all, really, false or true, that life will be better in the future, since he's always just braced and ready for the worst. And he was from this line, I think that he was the only one who anticipated that the pigs would just take over from the beginning. Orwell, and this is real people time, or real life. Orwell used Benjamin to represent the people that were skeptical of the revolution and how it won't have much effect at all. And it's kind of true, because they still had bad society after, bad government, and this connects back to somewhere themes. So first off, we have coming back to life is life, take it or leave it, and because the only lives that really changed were the pigs and Jones's, because he got kicked off. But for everyone else, life was the same. They still worked and lived on barely livable rations, and they did whatever the top dog said, the pigs. And they didn't really do anything about it, because they couldn't. They had no power, no... I want to say intellect, but... no knowledge of what's really going on, except they're just not being treated well. And it stayed the same, so they couldn't really do anything about it. Deal with it or don't. And then the second theme I got from this was knowledge is power. Since the pigs were the smartest, they had like the most amount of control of everyone, because they had the most trust from their fellow animals. They believed that the pigs would do everything that would benefit the farm and make their lives better, but in reality it kind of had the opposite effect. The pigs kind of got self-absorbed and selfish and they just wanted to work for themselves. So they just took over and what's mean? took advantage of all the animals, and then it made him build a windmill that Snowball originally planned to, and used it to help the animals, but it just didn't really do anything but help the farm and the pigs. So it kind of the windmill kind of represents portrayal, because the pigs didn't really do anything, and they just, it's like a symbol of they took advantage of their fellow animals, and they didn't even realize. Like, maybe they realized. It didn't say. Yeah, I can get that from the book, but maybe, but it's betrayal still. So I'm gonna try to connect more. I'm gonna connect more characters like to the Russian Revolution, because that's what basically the entire book is based on. So Mr. Jones was represented. He was the bad leader of Russia, and he was cruel and brutal, and not really good. He was rich. He was drunk a lot. Or just being like, he was drunk and careless. So that's like a trait of rich people, because they have money, which gives them power to, or access to, like, lots of alcohol, and they don't have to really worry about much because they just have money. Old Major, we've gone over that. Animalism. So animalism is what Major came up with. That was the communism of the book that came out. That was and it's basically that workers would get a better life, and everyone was equal. Everyone owned the farm, which is basically communism. Snowball, he was the good pig. He wanted the best for everyone on the farm. He's mostly represented by Leon Trotsky. He was a pure communist who fully followed Karl Marx, and he wanted to improve everyone's life in Russia, not just his own, compared to Napoleon, who was represented by John Stalin, who was also he was just like the character. He wasn't educated. He wasn't a good speaker. He was cruel, brutal, selfish, devious, corrupt, just like our old king up here, Mr. Jones, or Caesar Nicholas II. It's quite long here. Fun name to say. He had this totalitarian view of how government should be worked. So he only craved power. Like, he only wanted power and money, and killed everyone who opposed him. So he had like the dogs and Squealer to just carry out his needs, and he didn't have to do anything except just give the order to anyone. So Squealer, he's like the propaganda of Joseph Stalin, or Napoleon. He just convinces everyone that Stalin's like, he knows all, and he's good. He's there for the people, but not really. And Squealer, he's the guy who would just change the rules so the pigs can just break them, or just, he would change the rules after the pigs would break them, just so they make their own rules and no one else. The dogs are fun. So they are the secret police department. They're just the special force that they just use to kill people. no like justice, no Batman style, no nothing, just kill, no fun. And they would just be completely loyal to Napoleon, and that's what they did. And they just did what he told them to do, and it's horrible. Boxer like represents the working class. He's like, they're kind of suckers. They believe that Napoleon or Stalin was pure communist, and they were wrong. They were just taken advantage of, and they were still loyal after Stalin was obviously not a communist, because no clue why. They were just too far beyond fixing. Kind of sad. And then Clover kind of represented like as people who cared for the working class. So they were like the smarter people who knew how to help people, or wanted to help people, and they were good at it. So that's why she was able to read, and kind of none of the other horses would, or animals would. And then Benjamin, who we've gone over, is skeptical people, inside and outside of Russia. They really thought nothing would really change at all, and Stalin was just a crazy leader who called himself communist. So, not kinda good for them either. And I guess closing. I got all the points. Merits. I'm going through a list here. So in the background, what's probably playing right now is, or just about to be finishing up, is me building the barn in Minecraft. So if you're just listening to it, I'd recommend to just go check it out and see just the finished product, which would be probably ending up soon. So I think I'm pretty close to ending out. I checked off all the boxes so far, so let's... Oh, one more thing. The basics. Very important. Why I read this book. I read this book because I thought it would be fun and enjoyable to read as a writer, as well as a reader. And I was kind of right. It was fun. I enjoyed reading it, and I thought it was really fun to understand. But also, because I was kind of forced to pick a book, and this is the one that really stood out to me. So then that's the closing thing. So hope you enjoyed. 35 minutes, it's quite a bit. So make sure to check out a Normal Conversations podcast on 1984, and I hope you have the nice rest of your day, whatever time it is. Oh, it's pretty late for me, 10 o'clock. Anyways, later.